Hi, everybody. Happy Monday. I am Stefani Dunn, number one earner. And I am excited. You guys have been in for 14 years and just got back from Jamaica. Love going on trips. Anytime I can be around people, I love to learn constantly, always be willing to learn. And one of the things that I think about when you go to events or to anything is, of course, you always want to stay in your bubble. You want to stay with your friends. You naturally want to do that. But one of the best things that you can do is get outside of that bubble and learn from other people. And sometimes it's like, oh my gosh, I'm so scared to talk to these people. But I will tell you, everyone is always so willing to share and you can learn from each other. And so Friday night, we had a top point earner dinner. And I loved that they just put us at random tables. And so I got a chance to actually talk with Addison and said, will you be on the Zoom? Because she is so wise for so young. She's full of energy. She's excited about where she's going, and her story's powerful and what she had to share. So we didn't really know each other until then. And I feel like I have just learned so much for her. And so I think that you're going to learn that tonight. So whether that's you being brand new and you're like, I don't even know what's going on. First, welcome. This is exactly what you do. You get on to learn, because you never know what someone will say that will just transform your business. And so I love that. Always be willing to just share, because it comes back to you tenfold. And I know that she's pushing for triple diamond. So I'm excited to have her on and have her share her story a little bit. So Addison, I just love you to pieces. Hopefully you can unmute yourself, and I don't want to give your story away too much, but will you give everybody a little bit of your story and your background?
Yeah, of course. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Hi, guys. My name is Addison. I am from a very small town in Kansas. We have like a Dollar General and a short stop and a grocery store. And I have been in this business for almost 2 years. It'll be my 2 years on January 1st. I heard about this business when I graduated high school in 2020. My enroller reached out to me right as I graduated high school, and I immediately said no. And then I watched her for 2 years, 2 whole years. I watched her. And I loved the idea of the opportunity, but I honestly didn't know of anyone that had worked from social media. I was scared to join. I thought people would judge me. And I watched her for 2 years. I went off to play college volleyball and I saw she was living her life, and I posted probably 100 haps for her. So she really stayed in touch with me, and she followed up with me all throughout those 2 years. But after I finished my first year of college, I moved to Texas and I got certified in laser. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go to nursing school and I'm going to become an aesthetic nurse. And I was still watching her page. So I came back from Texas and I couldn't find any laser jobs around here. So I got a job in the medical field and I still was watching her post. And then I got 2 other jobs. So I was working 2 to 3 jobs and I just was still broke. I was living with my parents and I honestly wasn't surrounded by the best environment. So I really wanted to move out of my parents' house. But I was working 2 to 3 jobs and I just needed another income. I was working the medical field job, I was doing Uber Eats, and I was nannying on the weekend. So I finally reached back out to her and I actually bought the kit and I overdrafted my account. I'm not recommending that, but you got to do what you got to do. And I ended up joining January 1st of 2021. And from there, I really just got to work. But I just want to preface this by saying why it's so important to follow up and be consistent, because I watched her for that whole 2 years. And if she wouldn't have followed up with me, I wouldn't be here right now. So I watched her for 2 years. I joined on January 1st of 2021, and I quit my 9 to 5 4 months in. But I also want to talk about this because I don't think a lot of people talk about the process as much as the outcome. While I was working my 3 to 4 jobs, I worked this business for 3 months. That means I was working 5 a.m. shifts to 6 p.m. And then I was doing my Uber Eats, and then I was working my night shifts. So I know if I can do that, you definitely can make a part-time income from this. I was doing that for 3 whole months, and I had that temporary sacrifice for a lifetime of freedom. So I really think the process is important to talk about. But I went Ruby in August with 10,000 BV, and then I went Emerald in January, and then I went Diamond in March, and then I went Double in April. So it's kind of back to back, but I honestly just caught the vision really fast. and I didn't have anyone cheering me on really besides my boyfriend. So I didn't really have any support, but Jess gave me all the support, and this community is truly amazing. Since joining, I've been able to move into my own place with my boyfriend. I've been able to earn lots of free trips. I earned Punta Cana last year. I earned Jamaica. I was a top 20, as Steph said. I've been able to grow my relationship with God and just really grow my mindset. I also got incredible results from the products, which I'll talk about later, but I ended up losing 30 pounds off of the products from using them consistently. And I also wanted to touch on auto shipment because I couldn't afford an auto shipment, but I found a way. So I know if I found a way, you can find a way too. Being a product of the product is truly so important, but I'm so blessed with this business. I've also been able to create lifelong friendships and just really step into the version that I was meant to be. So there's a little bit about my story.
You guys, isn't she incredible? First off, I don't know if you guys caught this. She's 21 years old. And that amazed me so much. Like, oh my gosh, you're so wise. I feel like I'm talking to this old soul. She has so much in her and so many goals. And I'm so glad you said how long Jess reached out to you. Like she kept going. So if this is you, if you feel like you've been talking to the same person, you got to be consistent. You don't know when that person is ready. Even after 14 years, people still watch me and I'm like, what? You've been watching me for 14 years. Like, come on already. So you just don't know what's going to be the trigger. But if you quit, you're never going to know. And so I'm so grateful that Jess never stopped doing it. And you guys, here's another thing that I just love that I didn't hear that part, Addison, about you did like 100 host to posts. You know, some of this, you're reaching out. Some people just love to share posts for you. Like she probably was getting so many customers and different distributors for Jess. Like I'm just mind blown by that. Like, oh my gosh. So if you know that there's this friend that's always willing to do it, don't give up on them. That is a huge thing. And like she said, just being consistent. And I mean, I just can't even, I still am like in awe that she's 21 years old and she's just doing this thing like she's just been doing it her whole life, but she made a decision. Like that's the number one thing. So maybe you're here, you're brand new, or maybe you're in and that tonight's your decision. You're okay, I'm going to do the things. You have to work it, right? Like there's no question that you're working it consistently every day. And so I think, you know, all the people are like, oh my gosh, I need to know, what is she doing? How is she a top, you know, point earner for the trips? How is she doing all of the things? And I feel like I sometimes ask the same questions always because that's the number one question you guys want to know. And I just chuckle because it's always about the same response. It's not a whole lot different. So if you feel like when you see some of these things, you're like, I've seen this before, that's a good thing because you want duplication, right? Like that's what you want to be able to have. And so I see that and I'm like, okay, it's worked its way down the pipeline and it continues to go. And of course, you're going to have different strengths and different things, but Addison, I know coming into this, you just followed the leader. And so I know that you've done some host to post, some other things. So, you know, jumping into the business part is like, okay, what did you do?
So I can kind of start off about what I did when I was a newbie that really, I guess, started the ball rolling. So when I first joined, I was just kind of like ignorance on fire, that saying. And I did everything my enroller said and some more. So if she told me to post 2 TikToks, I posted 5. And I really just want to touch on TikTok because whether you're 18, whether you're 30, whether you're 40, anyone can do TikTok. It's the easiest thing in the world. I think everyone should do TikTok. When I first started, what's crazy is I was looking through my TikTok, my results didn't blow up. It was other girls' results that I used. So if you're new, you can use other girls' results to make TikToks before and after results. And then I also did get my own results that blew up on TikTok, but I can't stress this enough. Consistency is key. I had no idea how to do TikTok. I was so nervous, but I thought to myself, like, this is a temporary feeling and I want to be successful. I want long-term success. So I really stayed consistent with TikTok and I blew up my TikTok. I was doing 4 to 5 a day and it was DT TikToks and then PM TikToks as well. And then I would here and there throw in personality. but I also made my own stories, and I really showed up on my story in the beginning. I still do, but I would talk about the vision almost every week, whether that be like the business opportunity or the products. I would get on my story and talk. I honestly just did the things that scared the heck out of me because I was like, if it scares me, it must really pay off. So I talked on my story a lot, and I really made my own stories, and I got loud about the products, because when people see you're using the products and see your results, they'll be like, wow, she's committed. So I'm going to listen to what she has to say. So I got my own results. I blew up TikTok. I talked on my stories, and obviously posting coffee stories. And then I did do haps. I talked with you a little bit about haps, and I still do that today. Right now, what's working for me is posting TikToks for hap. So I don't know if you want to drop the scripts for that stuff, but basically I post a TikTok about our giveaway that we're doing that month, and then they DM me on Instagram, and then I send that script to them, and then I have them post that picture. Those are my own personal results with the coffee and the aloe, which is, we call it the morning duo, and it has my results over the product. So that's super cool. My TikTok is Addison May with 2 N's and 2 E's, but I really do blow up TikTok when it comes to giveaways. And when it comes to happing on Facebook, something that I've been doing is a little different. So I took these scripts from Instagram and I'm using it on Facebook. It's the only way that I've been getting haps up this month. I actually just got up like 10 yesterday from this script. It just says, hey, I'm not trying to get you to buy or sell anything. And then when they reply, I say, okay, if I sent you a status to post on your page, would that be okay? And then I have them post the donut giveaway post for more followers, more friends on my Facebook. And then I have them post the coffee one. That's been blowing up for me recently a lot. And then the gummy one as well.
So if you guys are wondering who is posting, that's my assistant, Laura. So you're going to want to copy that there, like she's doing that. And what Addison was saying is she's growing her network. So I think that's the key, like what you're sharing on TikTok. So you're growing with giveaway. I think that's where some people are getting stuck, is like, okay, I'm not afraid. I'm willing to do the ask. I'm getting those out, but I'm stuck. So here's your cue, guys, is like, you want to get giveaway up, especially right now. People want money for Christmas. And so they're willing to do some of those things just to do it. So is that kind of what you're doing a little bit more so on those platforms?
Yes. And I also am messaging. Recently, I have started to message 20 people every 2 hours, 4 times a day for host to post, because I wasn't getting host to post up, and I was sending that script. And then I'm also sending a message to my followers, who I'm following, and my story viewers. So I think I sent you that message, but I basically send 20 of those as well, about 4 times a day. It was 25, but I didn't want to get blocked. So I'm also messaging. I have the app Habit Tracker. I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but I have my daily to-do list on there, and I'm just a checklist person, not on paper, but on my phone. I'm a checklist person. And I basically have shifts split up. So I have a morning shift, and then I have an afternoon shift, and then I have an evening shift. And that's just posting on my story, self-development. I could talk about self-development for about 4 hours, but self-development is so important. I usually wake up and go straight to my devotional, and then just say a prayer for the day. And then I do my morning shift, which is usually just messaging my girls, or if you're new, messaging your leader, posting on your story. I haven't missed a story post since January 1st of 2021, I don't think, for products. And then in the afternoon, I really focus on, well, I send messages in the morning, but I really focus on in the afternoon, getting those TikToks up. And then in the evening, I'm sending out more messages and basically just doing all the things on the daily to-do list. So yeah.
I think you guys, when it comes to it, time management is so crucial with this. So a lot of you, like, you heard how many jobs she was working. She worked this in somehow. So you have to look at your calendar, look down, where can you do this? So if you're like, oh my gosh, I'm scared to do TikToks or whatever, like, then have your day, a weekend somewhere where you can go create a bunch and then just get them out. I think that's just going to be key for people, whether that's reels, TikToks, however, you're going to have to grow your network. If you're struggling, if you're like, I can't get these host posts, it's time to grow the network. And that is a great way to do it. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I think that sometimes what we think is like, oh my gosh, it has to look a certain way. And I sometimes get this. I'm like, she's 21 years old. I am not 21 years old. So that comparison comes in. I'm like, should I do that? I don't know. But it doesn't matter because you're going to connect with who's ready to hear what you have to offer, whether that's a giveaway, a product. They don't care about you. They care about what do you have that can do for them. So I think that is so important. So if you're feeling like, man, I want to get more host to post up, I want to grow my network, there are some great ways to do that. And I think that's just the way that things have to be. And don't get frustrated. You've got to be consistent because you just never know when that person's ready, what post is going to blow up, what video is going to blow up, what reel, any of that. So I love that you shared a little bit about that. I also want you to kind of go back through, this was, you guys, we can't share store or like pictures in the chat. So I'll drop some things in team pages and stuff so you guys have that. But I love this one because you do a lot of haps on Instagram. So, is that your strong suit? Do you feel stronger in Instagram than Facebook? Like, what do you feel is, again, everybody's different, you guys. So I love hearing because this one made me go, I need to do more of this.
So personally, right now, I think Instagram is my strong suit just because not as many people were replying on Facebook and they're coming from TikTok. So I would say Instagram for sure.
So if you don't have a big Instagram yet, you still do it, but don't, again, it's one of these things that we got to grow networks. So if you feel like you have a pretty good network and people are seeing your stuff, then do it and get people to do it. So I think that's, for me, something that I don't necessarily always ask people on my followers on Instagram to do, host a post. So that's a new pocket that I could go, I need to go ask on Instagram and send them the photo to put up in their stories and then to tag me. And that could be a giveaway to even grow more of my network or whatever, you're looking for that you need. So some of you might need to do more network building, planting those seeds, where some of you might be in the harvest time of like, okay, I've got the followers, I need customers and distributors now. So you might be more product driven, getting those up. You can do a little bit of both, but I loved that you shared that one because it was so simple and it would made me go, I'm comfortable in Facebook, but I want to go over here a little bit more and go, yeah, why haven't I done that? No, like forever. But it's one of those things that you don't know until you're sitting there talking to someone. And I know I shared with Addison a ton of different things for her too. So you're constantly learning from each other when you're put in an environment that's not your norm. So I suggest get outside of your norm. Do your strengths, of course, but then always be willing to grow outside of that. And that was an aha for me. Addison was like, okay, I'm always willing to learn and get uncomfortable. It doesn't mean I like it, but that's how we learn and how we'll be able to share moving forward. So I love that. You guys can go back through and, copy those, and we've put them in some groups and stuff. But what I love that you did is you were willing to share. Not everybody is willing to share, you guys. And there are so many fish in the sea. Like, you don't know what message is going to hit for anybody. You can share the same thing. You can make it your own. Again, some people don't like to copy and paste, and that's fine. Make it you. This is a guide. This is kind of that outline, that shell that you need to kind of help you go, oh, I can make something up like this and word it more of yourself. But that's something that I was like, okay, and people are going to ask, you just went, you're crushing it. So what are you doing and how are you doing it? So any other tips that you can share with them?
I would say to work on all platforms and not just one, because that's what I personally do. And I know everyone on our team works on all platforms. So yeah, I would say if you just want to work on Facebook and you hate Instagram, just try it out. I promise you'll have more network there, and working on all three platforms is definitely better than one.
I mean, again, you guys want to be successful. You have to do the things that are going to get you to success. And we don't know what that is. We don't know which platform that will be for you. If we did, we would say strictly go here. But again, we just never know where that will be. And you guys heard, there's so many little things that I think sometimes we just skip over. We're listening, but we're not hearing. And it's always the same. It's consistency. She hasn't missed a story or a post in a couple of years. So imagine that, like, her following knows what to look for. And so you got to make sure, like, if you're going to commit to this, whether that's you being consistent, meaning every other day, every day, whatever that looks like for you. Now, if you're going for one of these bonuses, because we have the Ruby bonus of 500, the Emerald 1,000, Diamond 5,000, all these bonuses. If you think that working an hour is going to get you to Diamond, you're crazy. Like, that's not going to happen unless you have a giant following. So I want to be somewhat realistic. You're going to have to make a decision to work and not just think about it. And so I was saying this to a couple people, like setting the bar, setting the expectations a little bit higher. We sometimes get way too comfortable and we're like, oh, I just like this extra little bit here. And it feels good. But that is not my expectations of what we have our hands on. And I want to push you guys more. I want you to do the things that you think, okay, I've done 2 hours, up it to 3 hours. You know what? Go to your team and be like, I know you want Ruby. You're going to have to work a little bit harder. Are you willing to do these things, and call them out? And I'm just not going to be afraid. You guys know me as like sweet, nice staff, but there is a bulldog inside of me. I didn't get to the top. I'm not consistently winning things because I sit back and do nothing. I'm very quiet, but I do the things. I silence everything out left and right. Like, what are people doing? And I put my head down and I get to work. And that was Addison. She has this short window working 2-3 jobs, and she knew exactly what she needed to do, and she did it. And it was hard, and she got uncomfortable, but she wanted to change her life. So if you're sick and tired of where you're at and what you're doing, then you have got to decide to put in the freaking work. Like, there is no other thing that I could tell you that makes more sense to just getting in, digging down, and doing the work, and not just doing the work. Like, don't be just, I did a post. You have to go, I'm going to be doing this. I'm going to be messaging as I'm doing it. I'm going to get the TikToks up. I'm going to do the story, and I'm going to message the people that are watching my stories. I'm not going to go to bed until I have 10 conversations, because I'm going to create the life that I want and not wait on other people. And that is the power of being around top movers and shakers and people that win things, is they're not just sitting back doing nothing. And so, Addison, could you share on that? Do you feel like, yeah, you just got to get down to work? Please tell me that you did that, and I'm not crazy and yelling at this.
Yes, I definitely did. A lot of nights I didn't get 9 hours of sleep, 10 hours of sleep. A lot of nights it was honestly 4. I don't know how I functioned, but I feel like I was just so hungry for success and money, and self-development really kept me on my toes. I would actually go into the break room at like 4 a.m. and put on a Steve Harvey video and just force myself to watch it at first, because I didn't really think self-development was important. When I first joined, I was like, who has time for that? I have 3 jobs. But I made the time at 4 a.m. in the morning. So I promise you can make time for self-development. But I really would describe that season as having grit. If you don't have grit in this business, you're not going to be successful, because there are going to be nights where you're not going to get all the sleep, or maybe you're going to miss out with family and friends. And I didn't have all the support in the world either. My parents thought it was weird. I definitely was like made fun of, but honestly, like tunnel vision, like Steph said, she was quiet and she's top #1 income earner. It's all about just doing the work. And a lot of times, back when I first started, I'd be like, yeah, I messaged 25 people today, but I wasn't even counting in my head. Get down to the nitty gritty numbers of how many people you need to message a day, how many posts you need to put up a day. That's why I love the habit tracker, because I can see how much work I've done in a month, a year, and a week. So if you don't have a daily to-do list, get a daily to-do list. And like Steph said, doing the work. There's no other way to describe it. And during that season, I was doing double the work. I still am doing double the work because it's promoting season, but getting down and dirty and just doing the work and doing the little things, and not lying to yourself and saying, oh, I did send out messages today, but did you send out 100 messages today? So I definitely did work hard. And I thought of it as these are temporary sacrifices for a life of freedom, because now this is my full-time job. I don't ever have to clock into a job. I don't ever have to work for someone else. And that's what kept me going during those 3 months. I didn't just sit back and lay back. I lost sleep, but I wouldn't trade it for the world, and I would have done it again. So yes, definitely.
I think you guys get the point of like, we just need to do the work. There's, always this like, okay, I want to know her secret. I want to know these things. She gave you everything that she's doing. So that's the key. Like, you have what it takes. You have all of the tools, you have the trainings, you have the team behind you. If you need people bumping your posts, people are willing to do those things. And I shared this the at C'est La Vie. And this is a question that I get all the dang time. I've shared this maybe a couple times. Some of you may have heard this, some may have heard it, but didn't really hear it. And this is true, especially right now when you're running for promotions. Like, don't let money slip away from you. Nicole Melson, I'm calling you out. Like, you know what? You guys are too dang close. Like, don't expect other people to do it. You dig down and you do the dang work, because you are all capable. There's no certain person that has this success. It's them deciding and going for it. And so I did this because it's like, how do you stay motivated? And I know Joel touched on discipline while we were there, but I wrote this down years ago because it was a top question that I got. And here's something that I got back great feedback from this. So I just wanted to make sure you guys are have this in your notes somewhere, but stop starting over. So many of you are like, start over. So give yourself the ability to get into momentum. Even if you aren't sprinting yet, at least move forward every day. Make it a non-negotiable. You have got to stop starting over. That was a huge aha for a lot of people. Have allies, I didn't say friends. So allies, think of these people as they're the people that aren't afraid to call you out, not afraid to stretch you. So if you're saying that you're going to do something and you didn't, they're going to call you out on it. A good ally won't lie to you and tell you it's okay you took a break, especially right now. So that's why I picked on Nicole, because I know what she has in her and she's not using her full potential to do the dang thing. So yeah, I'll put some of you guys on blast because I am that person. I will call you out because I see it and I would want somebody to do that to me. So get in a routine, use your calendar, use like what Addison just shared. You've got to know your non-negotiables. What are you getting out? And here's why: when you start tracking things, you can see, where do I need to up to get the results I'm looking for? If you're only doing 10 haps, and none are getting up, you've got to up it. So start getting the habit, because you're going to be so grateful to see where you're at and what your income does from there. Choose success. You have to choose success. You know what it'll take to climb the mountain of success. You have to visualize it. You have to reach for it. And then you have to choose it. You have to choose to get in and do the work, you guys. Then reward yourself. What do you have at the end of that? How do you feel? What are you going to do with that? Take a moment, just a few moments, to enjoy it, and then go sprint again, because I hear this time and time again. Momentum is so good when you're in it. Don't let that stall. You will go back and go, I wish I would have done more. You will hear that from any top leader, any top business owner. Like, you want to stay in momentum as long as you can. Now, obviously, once you're in there, it feels easy. It doesn't even feel like you're working. And that's the point where I see where It Works is going right now. We're creating a big momentum. So make sure that you're in the momentum run. And how you do that is by you getting started yourself. Don't wait for somebody else to do it around you. You get to create that, and you get to decide what you want. And so, Addison, I appreciate you. I didn't mean to preach a little bit over you, but there's just so many people out there that have so much in them that I don't want you guys to waste it. There's so much on the table for you guys, just sitting there right at your fingertips. And I believe in you guys so much. And I wanted you to hear it from somebody that came in that had multiple jobs, that was watching. So if you've been messaging people and you think, man, do I stop messaging this person? You never know when that time is right. So again, tonight, go and do those things. Make sure that you message, do the down and dirty work. Like people don't say, oh, I don't have to work. Yes, you do. Anything that comes with success, you will hear it time and time again. You've got to work for that. So I love you guys so much. I hope that was good because I appreciated Addison taking the time to share, because some people are always scared to get on a Zoom, but I just know she's ready for that next level of triple diamond. She's got it mapped out. I know she does, to know exactly what she's going to push for this month. But you guys give her some love in the chat. Go follow her, watch her. I know you think, oh gosh, she must do some magic. I promise you, she just made a decision and she's getting down to it, and she's teaching her team the same thing. So I'll see you guys again next Monday. Have another special guest that you're going to love. She is a rock star, and yeah, she's actually a firecracker. I don't even know. You're just going to love her when she comes on. So all walks of life, always blowing it up. So have an amazing week, you guys. Super grateful for you. I appreciate you. Addison, again, thank you so much. I've got her phone number, you guys. So she's in trouble now if you know me. So I appreciate you so very much and super proud of you. All right, guys, have a good Monday.